Somebody already in there. That's cool. Um, yeah, I felt like doing a live stream. I'm in a pretty damn good mood. I got my car back, and I got a job. Place I used to work hired me back. I went in there for lunch today. Wasn't even really looking for a job. Well, I was, but I wasn't expecting one that like that. But Carlene, the owner, she asked me if I need. I was like, yeah, I'll take some hours. And there's people in there I worked with for 20 years and longer. Hey, how you doing? What's up? What's up? Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, I had enough bad news. It's starting to turn around finally. Anyway, I got the car fixed. It was alternator went bad, and on this car happened to be pretty expensive because it's half like it's a hybrid, half gas, half electric, and so I got through all that shit, and then my sister and brother-in-law came down to rescue me from the hotel. I was basically trapped after like I guess I was down there for 6 days, man, waiting for him to find an alternator for the car. Sorry, and then they took me out to lunch. They're like, "Hey, you want to get lunch?" I said, "Yeah, that's cool." So I said, "Do you know anywhere place that's good around here?" And like, yeah, right down the street. I used to work there, and went down there. And the owner's daughter, well, she's now the owner. Her mother passed away a few years back, a couple years back. She came up and said, I've been looking for you. Do you need any hours? I heard you might need some hours. I said, yeah, freaking A, if you can hook me up. So I got that coming in. I could probably start it this week coming. And then after that, I also got, what do you call it? Well, about a month and a half, I'll be back with the Blue Rock Stadium, working there. And that's mostly nights and the restaurants days. So then I basically with DoorDash, I might do it 1 or 2 days a week. That way I don't have to tear the shit out of my car driving it all the time. So that'll be good. So I saw you sent some videos or pictures. And what was that you made there? It was like, did you render pork fat or something? Anyway, I think you said you were cooking something. I didn't see him till like later on. It's strange. Half the time, I don't even know there's. I have to go in and check because I don't get notifications, and it happens a lot. Here and there, randomly, I get them. That pisses me off. Anyway, what have you been up to there? There you go. Hang on, let's see. What's this? I had a whole picnic ham. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yes, I saw. I was looking at. I smoked for some really good barbecue, and I smoked the fat with it, and then rendered that fat down. Yeah, and it took forever though. But made the most beautiful pork fat. Yeah, it looked really like the best shit I've seen. Emerald Lagasse would have loved that. Pork fat rules, he used to say. For tamales. Okay, right on. That's something I don't think I've never made tamales. I've had them. I just never made them. I'm cooking bourbon glazed carrots. That sounds good. And asparagus and mashed potatoes. And a steak Oscar with filet mignon. And Argentine shrimp that tastes like lobster with the hollandaise sauce. Damn. Did you guys hear? Did you hear about Argentina, by the way? Malo or whatever the hell the leader's name is. Evidently, he just massive explosion. Wait a minute, evacuation. Hang on, power outage. Something's happening somewhere. Anyway, they just made in Argentina a law. They're making people work 12 hours a day. what's it's going back to slavery and shit. And they're not getting paid overtime. That's fucked up. Yeah. It's good that they're working, but an 8-hour day is pretty damn good. Pay them a fair wage. When you get to like 12 hours, you don't have any time to spend with your family or anything after a while. 7 days a week, or I don't know if it's. They must give them some time off there, some days, I would hope. Yeah, so the Argentine shrimp, they taste like lobster with the hollandaise sauce. It kind of reminds me of the South African rock shrimp. You ever have them? They kind of have a different. They're different than other shrimp, I think. Anyway. Hey, what's up, memory of the fisherman? What's up, brother? You're from Philadelphia, correct? Didn't I ask you that the other day? I just got my car back. It was man, it drove me nuts not having a vehicle. I know, right? I have to step up, sell some smoked cheese, jerky, hot sauce, etc. Yeah, several people waiting for 2 batches of my hot sauce and jerky without even trying rock lobster. There you go. Yeah, start bottling that shit and selling it. Is that what your plan is? Philly, you're Philadelphia. Are you, do you follow sports at all? Are you a Philly fan, Philadelphia Phillies or Eagles? Or I'm actually down the road in Delaware, and I'm working for the Blue Rocks. In about a week or so, I'm going back to William Frawley Stadium, the minor league team. Rock lobster's so good. That's what got me to like it. Yep. Yeah. I've often heard that cold water is far better. Like cold water lobster and warm water. Cold weather beats it hands down, Yep. What's up? How you doing, Pete? What's that? Only dirt bikes and NASCAR and fishing. That's your thing? Yeah. You don't follow hockey at all? I grew up right up in, do you know where Drexel Hill is? In Upper Darby? I grew up there as a kid, and the Flyers had won the Stanley Cup. And of course, it was back in 1973 or something, and I got in trouble that day. My mom, it was literally a parade going down the street, but not the parade for the Flyers. Just everybody in the neighborhood was going nuts, and I got sent to my room. I was probably, let's see, if it happened in 73, I was about 10 years old. Everybody was down the street watching it, people going crazy out in the streets. It sucked. I had to go and stay in my room. Lost out on that. Tell you one thing, I didn't misbehave for a while after that. What's this? Rock is warm. It's the warmer waters are better, I think. I don't know. Well, Maine lobster is always good. I'm talking about, I think it's like Langostinos, warm Caribbean waters. I've always heard it's a little bit more mushy as opposed to like Maine lobster. And wait a minute, you like minor leagues and lower level sports? Yep. Well, I'll be working again for Blue Rocks. I worked there last season. It was pretty cool, actually. And the manager, she's down there. She was actually announcing the game. She went to school for that, and she's actually working with the Eagles right now, or was, and she'll be back. She's the one that told me, come on back. What's this? Yes, yeah, I think the shrimp's different than the lobster. What's this? I'm just learning good seafood as I get older and care more. Yeah. Well, you must be one hell of a cook, or a chef. Actually, sorry, I didn't mean. Yeah, I've seen some of your stuff. You put videos out. Man, oh man, some of that's outstanding. And dude, I don't make bullshit stories up. What's that say? I would recommend you getting help with your drinking, boy. Can I ask you an honest question there, Pete? If you don't care for my channel or anything I say, why do you come on? Is it just to be pretty much an asshole, pardon my French? There's no need for that. I'm trying to be cool with you this time, but if you want to troll, down the toilet you'll go. I'd rather be a cook than a chef any day. Chefs are, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. They're too full of themselves. What's to say? What you think about giving up meat during Lent? Well, I was brought up Catholic, so we did do that. What's this? Just being honest, not trolling. You know what? And you're allowed to have your own opinion, dude. But I don't drink for what it's worth. I did many years ago. What's this say? Dr. Pepper, you're right. I don't even drink that anymore there. I pretty much stopped drinking sodas, man. Sodas is like toxic waste. Fucks your body up, man. I gained a lot of weight, but I if I had to drink a soda, I'd still take a Dr. Pepper over. Coke is disgusting, in my opinion, anymore. Tastes like chemicals. Anybody else notice? Tastes like they changed the damn formula again. Yeah, there you go. You give up Lent during Lent. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man, I'm glad to have my car back. Yeah, Pete, I have nothing bad to say about you, but you're welcome on here and you can speak your mind. But, I hate when people are saying something. I'm trying to make a point. And you can disbelieve everything I say. I don't care. But you don't necessarily have to be rude or whatever. You do what you want. Yeah. What's this? I give up Lent during Lent. Yep. Bottled RC. Yeah. And Coke is trash. What? You don't, I don't know what it is about Coke. They changed the recipe or something. I thought you were nah, dude. You know what? Years ago, I I drank like a fish. And I even said as much, but that's like 25 years ago. I'm an old man now. But, I could play around and act, like I'm still drinking, but I don't. I don't feel like killing myself. That shit over a long period of time will fuck your world up. You know? Yeah. Anyway, mixed media, your food looks really good. I've seen you put out videos. I saw you had pictures of your cats there too. How are they doing there, mixed media? Cats still getting along? I just put up a picture of OJ. He been kind of really bummed out after my other cat died. I think anyways, been acting different. And I was in the hotel. I was just picked up I had what do you call that? A wire from it was like an extra wire I had for my charging my battery on my phone, and he started playing with it again. He was just kind of like sitting around and bumming over the last few months. Yeah, yep. Let me see something here for a minute. Sorry about that. I just wanted to send out one more notification there. Kept trying to send out. Sorry about that. I just wanted to send out one more notification there. Kept trying to send out no. What's that? What's that? And the permakin learned to what's that, to launch on your shoulder and perch like a parrot. My cat Sammy used to do that. I got a picture somewhere on my phone. He's like leaning on me. He'd sit up there, and this cat was smarter than shit. I'd be in watching TV, and I saw him walk into the kitchen, and he was hungry. He would open and close the cabinet door until I looked over, and he'd stop, and he'd look at me like, "You gonna get the hint? I'm hungry. Come on in here and feed me." Yeah, and he kept doing it. I was like, "Okay." I started laughing. I went in and hooked him up, and I was living in the city then. I had several cats, and the deal is, I think he was trying to tell me too later on that he was going to jet because he the next day was outside and he was kind of sitting by himself and looking at me sad, like he was saying goodbye or something. Yeah, that's all right. Don't get a argument started. Not worth it. So anyway, we had a hawk or something flying. It was in the city. It almost looked like it was the size of a small eagle. It was some kind of bird of prey flying around, landing on top of telephone poles. I think that thing was snagging cats in the neighborhood. I mean, the wingspan was incredibly large, and I lost a couple cats, and the other neighbor lost some. Something was grabbing them up. All right. So anyway, the other day, I was actually talking to my other brother, and I noticed something biblical happening. I've been watching a lot of people going through this. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way or not. Um, he's gotten cold, meaning he doesn't give a shit about his family and so. Well, and that's not completely true, but everybody. I'm even out on the road lately. There's a lot of road rage. People trying to not let you over. Something's fucking going on with people, in my opinion. The guy reminds me of a history teacher for some reason. Who, me? No, you know what though? I always liked history, and if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. It's good to know what happened. If you don't, the people in charge are going to pull the same bullshit on us later on that they did. Yeah, the people that are, the money people who control everything. They're the ones that are pitting everybody against each other, all the times. Oh, you can't hear me? Wait a minute. Hang on. Let me see. Hey, Mixed Media, can you hear me? It was cutting in and out. All right, 1 minute. Hang on. Wait a second. Give me 1 minute. All right. Let me see here. One moment. Wait a minute. What the hell's going on here? So, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? All right. I can hear me because that's my other channel, but I look at now. Can you hear me? All right. So you're either bullshitting me or maybe you really couldn't hear me. Maybe it was cutting in and out. I don't know. Um, Something else about to, yeah, like I swear to you, people seem like they're changing to me. Um, and no wonder there's so much shit going on in the world. People have had enough, I think. You know, too much anger and hate going down. Um, I don't know. I think it's a matter of time before civil war breaks out. I mean, there are already pretty much wardiums. I'm an American. I believe in freedom of speech. Cool. I only thought you were an alcoholic. Now you remind me of a history teacher. That's all right. Now, at one point in time, I was pretty much an alcoholic. About 30 years ago. I'm an old man's got a lot of wisdom because I lived a lot of years, and I just got big into history. Actually, I go up to Gettysburg multiple times a year, and I collect. Hang on one second. I actually think I got one in here. I collect Civil War photography. There's the only one I have in my car. This here is called a tintype. It's a picture from the Civil War. This is worth about 40 or 50 bucks right now in an antique shop. It's a picture on, well, this one's actually might be an ambrotype. An ambrotype, what, here, see if you can see that. Can you guys see that? The lights reflect. Yeah, this is on glass. The first photography was actually on a silver plate. It was called a daguerreotype. And they used chemicals that were pretty much lethal to develop it. They used mercury and chlorine gas back in the 1840s and 50s. And yeah, that's me, dude. If I was back in the 1850s or that's actually in 1860s, closer to Civil War. That picture is it's probably I would say it's about 1858 to 1864. Nope, I'm not that old, dude. I'm not that old. Yeah, they're neat, and I collect them, and you can learn a hell of a lot. Like that one there, I can tell you roughly where it was taken and different things. And I used to be able to do that with. Hang on, let me turn this off. See with paper images from that time period. People I used to set up a stand in the farmer's market and the town up the road where Joe Biden used to live called Greenville. And we had rich people up there. They would come down there just to buy tintypes from me because the only other place in the area you could find them was in well, you could find them online, obviously, but in the area was a couple different antique shops. And wait a minute, I've been waiting to use, what's this? I want to make my own one day. Let me rephrase that. I will make my own one day. People recreate this. There's a guy, I saw a guy actually making them up in Gettysburg. What's this? I voted for Joe Biden, did you? Nope. And you know what? I couldn't give a shit anymore. I don't think I'll ever vote again, period. Because we're being lied to from every angle. And I'm getting ready. God's taking us out of here, I believe. What's that? That's really cool. Yeah, the tintype. Yep. Yeah, you know what? I actually lived down the street from Joe Biden, more or less. And I actually saw him one time, him and his wife, Jill, in a gas station. And this was back when he was running with Barack Obama. So what's that, 10 years ago? And he was walking around talking to different people. He says, we're going to go down to Washington and bring these gas prices down. Well, unfortunately, they didn't do that. They went up. But he, what was I going to say? He came up and was talking to me. And I mean, he seemed nice enough. My dad used to think the world of him way back in the day. What's this? Never vote again. Jill is a beautiful woman. Obama was one of the best presidents we've ever had. And you're allowed to have that opinion. See, I don't agree with that. I think my favorite would have been Teddy Roosevelt long before any of us were alive. Other people said they didn't like him too, so it's irrelevant to me anymore because we're not going to get another vote. It's just the shit's winding down, in my opinion. Do you know anything about the Bible there, Pete? I think we are going to see some heavy duty shit go down. Wait a minute. My other phone's just hang on. I thought my other phone was ringing. It was some never vote again. Yeah, I personally didn't care for Biden or Obama, to be honest. Yeah. And I think that they're all, and I mean even Trump, they're all corrupt to some degree, and they have different goals in mind. Some just want to steal money, and others are stealing power, or whatever. They're all megalomaniacs in my book. And pretty soon, what's this say? Nah, we can agree to disagree, but too much for a poo-tube comment. Focusing on myself these days, not bottomless arguments. Right, exactly. I can't believe this isn't a bot unless it's an NPC. They behave similar. Maybe it is, because he's come in here and I tossed him last couple of days, and I figured I give him a chance to talk, and I ain't gonna throw him out. And if he acts decent, but I started to think he was a bot too, for what it's worth. That someone programmed him it to be saying all this stuff, but maybe not. Anyway, I can see that this live stream's basically it's barely even moving. The other day I ended up with like 500 people on there, and right now I got a couple, but wait, what's this? Definitely programmed, blocked, live. Yeah. Probably. So anyway, the other thing I was talking about a minute ago is people are definitely changing, and I can see it in the way they drive. What you should. Okay, you want to be a mod, huh? There you go. I had enough. Yeah. Let him be a mod. He's tearing into anything and everybody. That's you know who that might be? Amir. He's been in and out of here, and I think it's Amir. And if it's not Amir, then you're absolutely right. It's probably a bot. Yeah, well, I didn't mod him. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of bullshit that they don't, that anybody does that intentionally, but it is what it is. Yeah, the other day I had a shit ton of people on here. The last few of them. And you know what? It's probably because the bots are back. Yeah. Anyway, mixed media. Do you advertise like with your stuff, the hot sauces? You got to try to. I don't know if you do that. I would start trying to sell it. Sell your own brands. If you have the ability to mass produce it. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, I was trying to be civil to the dude, and he still got that. It kind of reminds me of Amir. If that's a person, I'd have to say, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a mirror. That's cool. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's good for some side money at the very least. Just start small. There you go. There you go. I'll tell you one thing. If you enjoy something, you usually excel at it. And it sounds like you really enjoy cooking when you talk about it. You know? So, yeah, but to get back what I was saying, to what I'm saying, I see people just acting really screwed up lately. Not about money as much as networking and stability on the back end. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's just I don't think the world's going to keep going on the way it is. Thank you for the thumbs up there. It was 3. Somebody took one back. Maybe Pete came back and snagged it down. Yeah. I just don't understand people anymore. Like the other day, actually today, I was on my other channel. I did a live stream, and I'm just saying, why in the fuck is everybody listening to these elites that are basically pitting us against other poor people or people that are, not elites? They're trying to wipe us out. And I was also saying that they should go after, instead of just rounding up illegal aliens like they're doing, why don't you go after the people that bribe them to come up here? What's his name? Soros and all these guys were handing out $10,000 and get in line, go get your money, and go giving them cars at the border. They were giving away cars or selling them dirt cheap and everything else to get them in here to steal the vote. Your main focus is doing things I love and advertising, finding people who think the same so we can skill share. That's cool. Yep. And you know what? That's a good thing to do too, right around now, because one day everything's going to be collapsed and people are going to have to learn to work together. And that's another reason why I was talking about all that shit. They got us fighting among ourselves, and they're going to go run off into their bomb shelters or whatever, and we'll be killing each other. And that's that. I don't plan on going out like that, So I'm, as much as I can, I'm saying, you know what? Go after the fucking elites. Go after the politicians. Go after the people who have caused all this pain, on both sides of the aisle, I thought it was we the people, because these people aren't representing us that we're voting in anyway. Who says, hey, how you doing? How you doing, brother? What's that? Georgia Guidestones told us that. Yep. Yeah, they blew them things up a little while back. You're right. And yeah, the WEF, World Economic Forum, and over in Davos, and all these people, big money people, are making everybody leave their countries, and here's money, here, go over here, go. So they're migrating all around, and it's causing a lot of tension with people that have been living in certain areas. All of a sudden, they're second-rate citizens, but they've been paying taxes, and then they're bringing someone new in to replace them, basically. And you know what'll happen? Once those new people come in and take those jobs, won't be much long after that, they'll replace them with robots, because that's the next move. We're being played big time. And then they will hand out money through what's called universal pay. And you'll just stay at home. And eventually they won't be able to do that. They'll have robots doing your job and everything else. So eventually say, if you want to keep collecting that money, how about going over here to this 15-minute city when we can still do it for a little while longer? Eventually, they won't even be able to do that. So it'll be into a FEMA camp. Next thing you know, it's a concentration camp. Step by step by step. How you doing, dude? Good to see you. Yeah, in Britain, the taxpayers are doing the refugees. Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy. Where in England are you from? Are you anywhere near Leeds? You're not doing what there? What was that? Mixed media. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. They're getting screwed over big time in there and over in Germany and everything. They're not hardly even allowed to speak, from what I'm hearing. But somebody supposedly came on here the other day, was from England, said I didn't know what I was talking about, and that's not happening. Maybe to some people, but it is to others. If you're alive, I'll make it my mission to my dying breath to spread truth. Exactly. I agree with that. Conspiracy theory. Do you know where the word conspiracy theory really came out of? This back when Kennedy was killed, the CIA started using that everybody was a conspiracy theory nut, to try to discredit it. All right. If they had their way, nobody even would have talked about Kennedy's assassination, you know? And they grabbed the one guy up, but I have to tell you, it had to be way more than, and it was way more than, what was his name? Lee Harvey Oswald. He was a puppet or a fall guy or stooge or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but I do remember. Was that the one with conspiracy theory? Was that Jesse Ventura, or was that another one? Yep. Where in Florida are you from? I used to go down Tampa Bay. Yeah. Yep. I can't believe Dylan's still around, man. Jesse Vent. Yeah. I kind of liked it. It was interesting. And some of the things he said had. Wait a minute. You know what? I'm trying to charge the phone and I forgot to turn on my car. There we go. Pensacola. All right. What was I going to say? Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. And some of it's bullshit, maybe, but you know what? There's a lot of strange shit happened, and no one addresses it because they don't want to look like a nut or and you're out of your mind. But you know what? People said that about the Epstein files and all this shit. And I'm telling you, millions of children across the globe have disappeared over the last 50 years or 100 years. Something's going on, you know? Yes, I think you're right. He did. Yep. I mean, right now, they've actually built, um, what the hell was it? A detainment center for supposedly for the people that they're saying came in the illegal aliens that they catch. They're going to put them in these detainment centers. I thought they were sending them back. Huge warehouses and detainment centers are supposedly. Well, there's one being built for sure in Utah, and then there's other warehouses they're converting. So I thought they wanted them out of the countries, but instead it seemed like they want to throw them in a concentration camp or something. That FEMA body bags, yeah, yeah. There was a farm I think it was down in Georgia, that had plastic. Somebody came and dropped off thousands upon thousands of plastic liners for graves, like they were dropping into the ground, but they were stacked, and nobody knew what the hell they were. That might have been on Jesse Ventura's thing too. I mean, there was shit tons of them, and it was sort of near Atlanta, and right in Atlanta was the CDC back then, still there, I believe. And I was thinking to myself, they got all kind of germs under lock and key down there. Can you imagine if someone breaks in there and just releases everything? Yeah, exactly. Bondi won't even allow the victims to tell their story. Yeah, why not? What? See what I'm saying? There's some there's something going on big time, you know? Pandemic, yeah. Well, here's the thing that I said the other day. I don't know if you guys were on here the other day. I was saying, why in the hell with the COVID thing? All right. First off, you weren't barely even allowed to talk about it on YouTube, dude. Yeah, get rid of your channel or just give you a strike, and that's kind of weird. You can't even talk about it. So then after that, there millions of people were getting the shit scared at them because all of a sudden they were talking about how bad it was. They kept talking about the numbers of people that were dying and this and that, and don't basically they're, what do you call that? Um, Contact tracing and all this other shit. People are like, what the hell is going on here? People have been alive for 50, 60 years, and it was basically, in my opinion, a psyop. People were dying. Don't get me wrong, but they were blowing the numbers out of proportion. If you got in an accident and you happen to have COVID at the time and you died in the accident, caused the accident, they were marking it as COVID because the government was giving them more money. That's a fact. Let me see here. Some of them girls were facilitators. Yeah. Yeah, but some were probably basically kidnapped. Even big channels like Rogan got warned about talking. Yeah, that's crazy as hell, dude. The psyop, right. They were also dying because they were giving patients, yeah, yeah, remdesivir. If you take and mess around with that word remdesivir, I noticed it's got the word virus and virus remedy backwards or something. That so that's kind of weird. They took those two words and that's what they called that medicine. Yep. Um, while doing TikTok dances. Yeah, exactly. It was all bullshit. There were the nurses that were dancing around. And then the next thing is a lot of doctors are just playing along because they're afraid they're going to lose their medical license, I guess. But you know what? Some of them were courageous enough to stand up and say something's wrong here. And they paid their price for it probably. But they're true Americans. They gave a shit. And then you had what's the other thing? Oh, they used to have, when that was a full blown pandemic, according to them, people were going to like the hospital, but they were giving them the vaccines in the parking lot. And these people that would give them could have been like college kids. You know what I'm saying? Were they even medical students, or I don't know. They were just rolling in cars, big long lines of cars, and rolling up their sleeve without. And it was experimental product anyway. What the fuck? People get scared and they just follow the leader, like lemmings into the sea. Like they just run right off a cliff, following the guy in front of them. They don't. God gave you a brain. Try to use it before you lose it. They were also dying because they were given, yeah. And they were putting them on ventilators and killing them too. It was at the wrong time. And then they wouldn't even let you use natural means like, what was that? Ivermectin and hydrochloroquine, which were curing people. And they were trying to not be able to, the doctors weren't giving out that, what do you call it? Prescription. They wouldn't give it sometimes. It's just fucking ridiculous. Yeah, like sheeple. You're right. Absolutely right there, Joshua. Yeah, the TikTok dance and going home feeling like big ass heroes while the neighbors banged on pots and pans. Yeah, that shit was crazy. And nobody's being held accountable. Exactly. And they're still not. People committing crimes and like, oh, so and so got caught and they're gonna, get charged. And there's treason going on all over the place. Okay, treasonous behavior supposedly should bring the death penalty in a lot of cases, but these people, they're gonna have to go to jail. You know what? Why are you lessening the penalty? If they're treasonous, back in the day, they used to be hung or hanged or whatever the word is. See, they're not. Nobody's going to jail. Nobody's going to get arrested. It's a big scam. I think you're right, dude. I don't think they're going to be held accountable. Yeah, actually, I stand corrected. Yeah, Judgment Day, they'll have to pay for that. God's not going to let them slide by that easy. I mean, they did some shit that's wrong. They're going to have to come clean on it. It's one big club, and we're not in it. That's exactly right, George Carlin. And that's the truth, man. Yep. Sad but true, dude. And even when you see Carlin at the very end of his life and his career, man, he was getting negative. He was, I don't think he was as funny because he was just miserable. He realized as hard as he tried to get people to see things, people were asleep, still are. You know when they wake up? When nukes start going off, when shit starts happening they can't come back from. What's this? What the hell was that? Wait a minute. President Trump, I just saw something flash across there. I wanted to go see it. Was that Carlin was always fun? Yeah, he was, but I noticed he got kind of miserable at the end of his life. But he lost his wife, I believe, and that was probably one of the things that kept him going was his wife. I think she died a little bit before him. Anyway, what was I just about to say? Shit. Oh, Trump is saying that they're looking for a regime change in Iran. Something's gonna happen there. Yep. Yeah, Carlin was a comic genius, And he said it in a way that people listened. They laughed at it, but then it sunk in later on. So he was getting his point across, Yep. Are you from New York originally, dude? Yeah, that's true, dude. I don't know if I did shorts on my channel here, like imitating that, what do you call that? Lip syncing or whatever to George Carlin's things. And it's not to steal his thunder because I can't, but it's just to remember him. Yeah, I thought he was funny as hell. He was my favorite comedian. Yeah. Oh, you left after 9/11. So you were there during 9/11. Man, that's what really screwed people up, seeing that shit go down. And then, 20 years later, the COVID thing, it changed the world. 9/11, and then 20 years later, they hit us with that pandemic bullshit. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Died that morning in South Tower. What they've never stopped about. Yeah, yeah, it's one psyop on top of another. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's terrible. Trump's COVID, Bush's 9/11, Republican disasters. Yep. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Right wing, left wing, same dirty bird. Yeah. Those people on both sides of the aisle, after they're done their day's work, they probably go and have cocktails at some fancy restaurant in Washington or something together, and it's all forgotten that they were arguing an hour late or before, over a bill. Yeah, we're being played. That's all I'm going to say. Who, me or what do you want to know? Wait a minute. The red team, blue team. Exactly, exactly. Um, well, introduce myself. Well, your name is Ruben, correct? And my name, I go by Josey Wales on here, Legends and Tales. And I just do a lot of different stuff. Thank you for coming on the channel. What's this say? Under duress. 100%. Yep. Hey, I got to go because your stream is obviously compromised and I have to finish dinner. But take care, and I wish you and your animals great wealth and health. All right, thank you for stopping by there, Mixed Media. Scott, so far, I'm glad to have found your live stream. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I just, wait a minute. I just came on here tonight. I was actually in a great mood when I came on. My car broke down let me turn this light off because I got to keep an eye on my alternator went on the car, and I don't want to run the battery down. It seems like it's still charging. I got it fixed. It cost me a bunch of money. And what's this? Wait a minute. What was that? Hang on. All right, it's cool. Now I'm listening for all kinds of things. Wait a minute. Outlaw. Wait a minute. Oh, it's car outside. I was like, was that my car making that weird noise? Yeah, that's a great movie, Outlaw Josey Wales. Love that movie. And my other channel is actually a Clint Eastwood movie, too. It's Preacher Pale Riders, the other channel. I think I better turn this thing off for a moment. Yeah, I'm paranoid. It was like the coldest day of the year about a week ago. Freezing cold. My car fucking died on me. And I just had to pay, well, I have $1,500 worth of work done on the car. That's a great movie, though. Yeah, Clint Eastwood, I liked almost all his movies. Matter of fact, I can't think of a bad one that he did. Who was the other person in that movie? Can't recall. Heartbreak Ridge. He's something else. That's De Niro and Val Kilmer or something. Yeah, Heartbreak Ridge. That's the one about Grenada. He's Gunnery Sergeant Hightower, I think his name is, isn't that? I also actually have another channel. I did a couple different channels. This one barely has anything on it. This other one, well, it's got some stuff. It's The Revenge of Josey Wales. The one they took my original Josey Wales channel down. I was talking about COVID a couple years ago, and they snagged it. And I can still get that back. I have to contest it. 2 mules for Sister Sarah. Yeah, yep. Yeah. It wasn't the greatest. It's all right. I didn't like that movie. Yeah. He was in another one not too many people know about. I can't even remember the name of this one. He was there was like all the, I think it was supposed to be around the Civil War era time, and I forget the name of it. He was wounded or something, and there was a woman that took him in, and something to do with somebody got poisoned by mushrooms. I don't know if it was him in the, I can't even remember. Yeah, yeah, Clint Eastwood. And supposedly him and John Wayne didn't get along. They almost had a fight or something at one point in time. See, John Wayne was like trying to be all like patriotic and all American, and Clint Eastwood was just different. These days were foretold in ancient. Yeah, you're right. Yep, absolutely right. Yep. You know, you can open a newspaper and point for different headlines, and then open the Bible, and you can find it's like right there in black and white. And I think you got to be a fool not to be paying attention right now, because this could be it. It's all winding down. You know, matter of time. I think all hell's going to break. It's already breaking loose around the world. Crazy shit's happening. In the Bible, talks about the four horsemen. I think they're starting to ride. You know, it's when famine and what's the other one? Death is on one horse, famine's on one, and there's like four horses. What's the other one there? Hang on. Pale Rider. I should have known that. The Icar horse. It's the one that almost like green. It's supposed to be plague and sickness. And I'm missing one, a black horse, I think it is. Yeah, it's gonna, dude. And you guys know about 3 days of darkness prophecy. It's not really in the Bible per se, but a priest or something, Father, who was that? Padre Pio had a vision or something about it, and he talked about and what's this? The first horse is given a corona, and he went out forth to conquer and to conquer. You know what? You're right. That's exactly right. Thank you. It's funny that they say corona too. And they basically conquered the world right there, almost. I mean, they destroyed everybody's economy for a while. Yeah, that sounds pretty much true. A crown is a corona. You're right. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and well, you know, here's another thing that bothered me about that whole thing. And they were saying that if you didn't wear a mask, you know, you were killing grandma early on. That, you know, trying to force you to wear the mask in stores and this and that, and you had to stand 6 feet apart from everybody. Well, first off, the mask, a freaking virus can go right through that cloth. That's like trying to put up a chain link fence to stop mosquitoes from getting into your yard. You know, the viruses are way small. You know, it's what's this say? Yeah, you're right, dude. And it was all basically psyop, whatever, mostly. And I think people were actually dying from fear as well. Literally, might have lowered their resistance, especially the elderly, scared to death. So they're walking around with high blood pressure because they're worried about everything, and it might have killed a lot of people. Might have died from power of suggestion, almost. You know. You control food, medicine, yeah. And Henry Kissinger said, if you want to control the masses, he who controls the food controls the masses. And he's one of those globalist type people that they've been planning on, you know, taking this system down and bringing up a whole new one, a beast system. It's called placebo. Yeah, in fact, yeah, where fear makes people sick, right? Exactly. And, you know, just the fact that they were telling you, yeah, you're killing grandma. They were using psychological warfare on people, making people feel guilty and like they're the problem and you're no good, dirty virus carrier. And it's fucked up. And people started, didn't want to be the guy that was, doing wrong. So they were going and getting jabbed up with that shit. And like I said, that was experimental. Wasn't even tested hardly, rolled it right out. Operation Warp Speed. So, I honestly believe even Trump in some way has played his part. They all right wing, left wing, same dirty bird, you know? Yeah, a lot of people did. That's, and it broke up families. People were arguing in families and that's another side effect that they wanted to us, to be hating on each other. And you know what Hitler Youth Corps used during World War II kind of did that. They ratted out their parents because they wanted to be good citizens, that was broadcasting on the radio or whatever. These kids were ratting out their parents and they're turning families against one another. Yeah, the mask. And remember the 6 feet apart is ironic, or I thought it was kind of crazy that first off, when you sneeze, it can go about 20 feet anyway. But 6 feet apart, and it was I don't know if you went in the store and you ever see they would have 2 feet cut out on the floor, and then behind it, 6 feet, another one and another one, three sets of footprints, 666, Yeah, yeah. And well, the next thing is, back in the day, in cotton industry, people were getting something called cotton lungs and microscopic particles they're breathing in all day. And I was wondering, even if you're walking around, as much as these people were with the mask on all day long, because there were people doing that, I'm wondering if you're breathing in enough of that fiber that now it's in your lungs, because that was a real thing during the textile thing is workers were getting bits and pieces of that in their lung. And what happens is mucus gets caught on it. It stays in your lung air and boom, causes infection. You can go look that up about cotton lung. Yeah, it's crazy. I wore a mask one time and I knew something was wrong and never wore it again. Yeah. Arrows, yeah, that too. You had to walk a certain way. Now, all over the country they were doing that, right? That was all planned. That like different stores. In other words, the people that owned these businesses, they were all in on it, in my opinion. That how did this spread that fast? They were told by the government, "Here's your money, play along, or do what we're telling you, and we'll take care of you." Meanwhile, they were treating everybody else like shit. The government was trying to put us all in fear 24/7. Yeah, you're right. You had to go a certain way, in one door and out the other. And you know what's crazy? Walmart's was allowed to stay open all the damn time. Big business like that. And all the mom and pop shops were collapsing because, they were shut down and shit. Yep. The airport forced people to be 6'4". Yeah. Right. Well, that was even in the stores. Like the drug the drug stores and shit. I saw that they had footprints where you'd stand waiting for the guy up at the window getting his medication. It was 3 sets of footprints, 666. They were both all 6 feet. You think that was a coincidence? I don't. Why 6 feet? Why not 7 to be extra safe? All across it had to be 6 feet. I'm telling you, it's all fucking demonic, crazy shit. And you know what? The word COVID, I often heard it was an anagram, I guess you call it, or in there is a hidden word, COVID. Well, COVID, if you look at it, COVID, COVID 19, okay? Certificate, take the first letter, certificate of certificate of vaccination ID, and the 19 also stood for AI, ran by AI. See that's hidden in there, coded. I really believe someone said that a while back, and it makes all the sense in the world. That's part of why they called it that. If you take each letter, put in front of it, and there was a lot of hidden bullshit like that. These people are twisted and sick. Certificate of vaccine ID, and they were trying to get us to take. They want the digital ID now. It's crazy. It's the mark of the beast coming. So many contradictions in their rule. Exactly. That's what caused me to search out germ theory. Right, right. 2020 was planned for a very, very long. You're right. And you know what? It happened before. Uh, it happened when the Spanish flu came out. Fort Riley, they were experimenting on vaccines and all this other shit. And it happened that's almost like 100 years later. They were planning on probably killing us off for a long time with medications, and now they're doing it with our food. Did you know that they're putting vaccines in our food now? Who the fuck are they to do that? And then meanwhile, they were killing millions upon millions upon millions of chickens because of bird flu. Does that make any sense? They're calling them. Once you cook a chicken past like 165 degrees, no virus is going to live in there. You could still use that meat. That's when you're cooking a chicken, it's got to be above 165 to kill salmonella. 100% of the people got the Spanish flu were inoculated. Exactly. And it's really fucked up. That means they've been plotting and scheming on this shit maybe hundreds of years, And how germ warfare first started? It was I can't remember the name of it. Was it in the Turkish? What was that? Corsica? No, it was a castle that was under siege hundreds and hundreds of years back, and they had the Black Plague was killing people all across Europe. So they were taking people and launching them in a catapult. They couldn't break down these walls of this castle. I can't remember. It's Corsica or something like that, or Kafka. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, they were throwing dead bodies over the walls with catapults, and these things were infected with diseased fleas from the Black Plague. And rats were coming from different areas that were carrying them, and killed millions. Yeah, they killed 100 million chickens, right? And meanwhile, what does that do to the farming industry? They couldn't survive that. That's beating them into the ground. And now that's there you go. Plague. Okay, one of the four horsemen was sickness, and the other one's famine. They caused the famine with the other one. There's not going to be any food available. When the shit really hits the fan harder, which is coming, people are going to get shot for the last can of beans, as they go into the grocery store at the very end. And eggs were so expensive. Yeah, right. Well, you know what? Here's the crazy thing. Eggs wouldn't be contaminated with the virus. It's a sterile, an egg is sterile inside. Now, if it has a crack in it, yeah, it could be. But, wait a minute, what's it say? They want to delete cows now. Exactly, because of bird flu. Get the fuck out of here. Like, this virus is jumping from one species to the other so easily. They're trying to starve us to death as well. What's this say? Obama just went nuclear on Gavin Newsom. Something's going on there. The wheat and the barley is going to become extremely expensive. Yeah. Well, how about this? it says that they'll be casting their gold and silver into the streets. And I think that means, all right, first off, they're taking our paper money away. They want us over this digital ID. They're going to put a chip in you. And with the gold and silver, there's going to be like monkeypox or something come along that when you handle something, you can get this disease. That's what I think's going to happen now. That's why I think that says that in the Bible. I could be wrong, but what's this? Manufacturing mass hysteria. Yep, maybe. Yes, it will be on. It will be under. The book of Isaiah teaches us that he that doesn't have the mark will have food. Yes, just like the manna from heaven. God took care of them. And that'll happen again. Well, they'll say they be casting gold and silver in the streets. I hang on 1 second. Let's look that up. Wait a minute. You know what? You're thinking there's something about the gold will become cankered. And hang on, let me look this up. Give me a second. Look it up. Does it say that they will cast their gold and silver in the streets in the Bible? Ezekiel 7:19.
Yes. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 19 in the Bible says people will discard their silver in the streets and consider their gold worthless, as it won't protect them. It describes a time when wealth becomes useless.
Okay, and there's two things. The other thing is, yes, chapter 5, James. Okay, that's the one where they're. Well, let's look it up. Okay. Chapter 5 in the Bible, James.
In James chapter 5, there are warnings against greed and hoarding wealth. It also encourages patience and communal prayer for healing, condemning exploitation of workers, and emphasizing the power of righteous prayer.
Well, a lot of that shit's kind of happening anyway right now. Let's see. Warning to the rich oppressors. Now, that's James 5, NIV. Warning to the rich, and that's all I keep talking about, these elites that are basically trying to wipe us out, I feel. Yes. Oh, James was Yeshua's brother. Yes, I heard that. Wait a minute. Here you go. Warning to rich oppressors. 5 now. Listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. And this is your wealth has rotted. That's where it ends. So I can't bring it back up. Wait a minute. Oh, here it is. It's over here. Yeah. Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because the misery that. Wait a minute. It just keeps jumping around there. The misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted and moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded. I said cankered, but their corrosion will testify against you that eat, what's that? Eat your flesh like fire. That sounds like radioactive gold and silver or a disease could be on it. And also, wait a minute. There was something else about the 7 though. What James says cankered. Yeah. The King James Version. Yeah. That's where I heard that. Ezekiel 7 is talking about the day of the Lord. Okay. Yeah, dude, I think we're going to see things that no man has seen ever. It's going to be freaky, scary. And, do you guys believe in the rapture and pre-trib or after the tribulation? There's two different belief systems. In Paul, I believe, I can't remember where in Paul. It's after the whole 7 years. You think it's after? Well, anyway, Paul said something in Greek, rapamor, which means to like leave fast or in the twinkling of an eye. Someone was bringing that to my attention. It's after. Wait a minute. What? The jerky and grape soda and Epstein files is crazy. Oh yeah, that's sick, dude. There people having conversations about it, and sounds like they're talking about like basically it's dead people. It's they're eating children or whatever. It's vampirism. Jesus clearly said, immediate after the tribulation in those days. The tribulation is 3.5 years. Okay, I agree with that. That's what I always say. In the Bible, is that what you're saying there? Yeah, they were eating people, and they still are. And a lot of these Hollywood stars were all into that adrenochrome shit. I don't know, you guys know about that shit. That's created by, supposedly they scare the living shit out of children, and they tap into their what's it, adrenal gland, and they're getting high off of this stuff. They drink it or whatever. It's crazy shit. Look up how they get that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Don't they tap into the adrenal gland? They scare the shit out of children, torture them and everything, and the adrenaline's flowing, and then they kill them. Yep, right. And there was supposedly a video came out. It was called Frazzle Drip. I don't know if you guys heard that. It was supposed to be Hillary Clinton and somebody else were doing that shit to a child. Whether that was real or not, I never found out. And then they killed the child. Yep. And you know what? They're killing children anyway as a sacrifice to Baal. That's their god. And you know what? If a lot of people aren't even aware of any of this shit, and they think this guy's nuts as hell. Why would I put myself out there and be saying this shit? I know it sounds crazy. It's hard to believe, but I'm doing it to try to tell people who don't know about it myself. It needs to be John Podesta. You're right, dude. I remember that, dude. Yep. First time I heard of adrenochrome, that was in a movie. Again, predictive programming. They're hiding it in everything. The Simpsons, that's all for a reason. And I was talking about this the other day, kind of. I don't know if you guys were on the live stream the other day. Fear and Loathing. And yes, that's another one. Alex Jones has been talking about it for years. Well, here's the deal. I was talking about all the shit that they're predicting. It's predictive programming and movies and in Simpsons and all that. And then I was just about ready to get into Operation Looking Glass. And there were can't talk right. They're basically able to look into the future. And I was wondering, with whatever this invention is, Trump seemed to be playing 3D chess or 4D chess, and the whole Looking Glass thing is right out of Alice in Wonderland, okay? And in Alice in Wonderland, there's chessboards flying around. If there is heard the Jefferson Airplane song, "Go Ask Alice," it mentions that, and the White Rabbit and all that shit. And all that shit's coded. And what I was talking about with the chessboard, it's funny that they were saying Trump was playing 3D chess. Now, here's something interesting. Trump's uncle, John Trump, was a Harvard professor and a friend of Nikola Tesla. And when Tesla died in February of 1943, I think it was, the FBI came in, raided his lab, and was taking all his blueprints for his inventions. John Trump managed to get some of that. And I don't know if you know about the book about Baron Trump. It was from like the 1890s. I couldn't think of the name of the writer. It was Lockwood Ingersoll or Ingersoll Lockwood. You could go look this book up. It was written by him. It's something written about Trump's son. It'll come up. The last president. Thank you, dude. Drew a blank there. Yeah, it's crazy. Do you believe that? I have to think maybe a lot of these people who are in government are fallen angels. Basically, a spirit in a meat suit. Or the Watchers. Do you ever hear of the Watchers? Now, supposedly, with this Project Looking Glass, you can see into the future or whatever. And I'm wondering if the Watchers brought that the Looking Glass thing to our reality or whatever. God had put Watchers on. We basically some kind of angels. I think there's a tie in there. And then they had maybe hundreds and hundreds of years after or I don't know, about 1,000 years ago in Greece, they had the Oracle of Delphi. Again, something they could look into the future. I'm wondering if all this shit ties in, all this sorcery, and then in the book of Enoch, it talks about it. They taught people how to basically do witchcraft and all this other shit, So, Barron Trump, you're right, dude. The last president. His mentor was a man named Don. Okay, then you actually read that. You're right. Wait a minute. Philadelphia experiment. It was true. Yes, I was talking about that too. The Eldritch, the ship that and that's right up Nikola Tesla's alley. They wrapped a whole bunch of coils around this ship, and they were trying to make it stealth, so it would disappear. And it happened. And then people that came back into, like, I guess it was almost like Star Trek when they, what do you call that? Beam me up, Scotty. There's a word for it. And I think it literally moved from Philadelphia Harbor or Philadelphia Navy Yard and then up all the way out near Norfolk, Virginia, which is the naval, pretty much the naval base for the East Coast. Quantum physics. Thank you, dude. You're right. They made a movie about it. Yep. Yeah. And evidently people were like welded into the fucking side of the ship. Some people went crazy. All kinds of weird shit happened. So basically it dematerialized and then rematerialized, and their atoms got mixed in with, I guess, the floor they were standing on, or if they're leaning against a wall. And that sounds crazy as shit. But I think it's true, personally. But I think all this shit's been hidden from us. And slowly but surely, they can't hide it no more. And in the Bible, it also says God will remove the scales off their eyes. They'll fall away. Somewhere near the end, that people are going to see things for what's really going on. And I think that might be what's happening. 1981, the movie. Yeah, the Eldritch was the name of the ship, I believe. And evidently there was like a green fog around the ship when they did that experiment. And then the thing just disappeared and then reappeared later. Hey, what's up, Fred? How you doing? What's that? That's what happens with warp speed. Yep. Oh, yeah. I thought for a minute when you said warp speed, I was thinking about, it's weird that they named Operation Warp Speed, for when they're shooting people up with that crap. Yeah. So there's a lot of shit we don't even know. I mean, we're learning as we go along. It's been hidden for maybe thousands of years. There's definitely spiritual warfare been going on the whole time. And the book of Enoch has a lot of stuff that's like that. Nikola Tesla was a weird guy. Yeah, he claimed that at one point he was talking to Mars. Maybe, but you know what I think? I think he was tapped in to, he might have been a fallen angel. Einstein and all these people may have had Nephilim bloodline, What's that? What about them crop circles years ago? Yeah, some of that might be done because they're basically getting us ready for the UFO deception shit, the Project Bluebeam, because they need a big diversion, and they're kind of already breaking that out a little bit because everything's coming out. They can't hide it no more, and they need to keep people still kind of in the dark and confused so they can pull the rest of the shit they want to do and eventually try to get us into taking the mark of the beast somehow, some way. Let me turn my car back. It's actually getting kind of cold out here. There you go. They use Blue Beam on Maui. Yeah, you know something? About 15 years ago, I was driving near here, and there was a bookshop a couple miles from where I am now, and I was coming home from it, and I looked up in the sky. I swear to God, there was like someone took and put a blue stripe right down the center of the sky. It had to be some kind of hologram, and it was thin. It was dividing two pieces of the sky. Like, what the fuck is that? It was so precisely drawn. I couldn't believe my eyes. Yeah, they also in Maui they evidently had satellites where there was green lasers they saw. They thought China might have been attacking us or something and caused those fires. But then there's also the naval base right there, and some people are saying that our own Navy was doing that, and I kind of believe it could have just as easily been us doing it, or both. I'm wondering if a lot of the shit we're here is literally all the major countries in the world are kind of working together to eliminate us. What's this? I missed the show, The X-Files. That was a great show. My brother used to watch that all the time, and I watched it. No house with a blue tarp. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, dude. It's crazy shit. And a lot of people, like I said, are still buying into like there's nothing going on and your conspiracy theory or whatever. It's like, how can you sit there and not at least question what's going on? You know what I mean? And I think because people are scared to see what people don't want to know what's happening because basically they're the same people that thought it was okay to just go along to get along, go get shot up with a experimental drug. You know, they don't. Sooner or later, it's down to you whether you're going to choose to get screwed over or make your stand and say no. And then 8,500. Yeah, exactly, dude. Kids disappearing all over the world too now. Unbelievable. And all these. Here's something weird. In the book of Enoch, I think it is. Is it Enoch? Where supposedly the Watchers or fallen angels landed on Mount Hermon. All right. I often thought this was Mount Hermon named after Hermes, the god, the Greek god. He was a messenger, a flying messenger, a winged god, and a messenger is an angel. See what I'm saying? I think things like that are hidden right in plain sight. And the fact that they called the Mount Hermes or Hermon, I'm wondering if that's where it got its name. I often thought that. Maybe not, but I think there's a lot of coded shit, and right out under your nose, in front of your face, they hide shit in plain sight, almost like the big middle finger to you, like you ain't smart enough to even figure out what we're doing. Same thing with the whole Epstein Island thing. What's this? She had children go up missing at her school. Now, who? Oprah? Yeah. Did you say Oprah in there? I didn't see that, but I think that's who you're talking about. Maybe it's up here. Nope. They might have pulled that line down if you said something about Oprah, but that's who you're talking about, I'm guessing. Yeah. They're all these people. And you know what? Look at how everybody forgot. What was the dude? P. Diddy. He's kind of went to the back burner and recently. You don't hear much. Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. She was tangled up with P. Diddy, and she was also tangled up with Maui. She was trying to buy all that land up and shit. Telling you, freaking crazy. Mount Hermon means sacred in Hebrew. Right, but did it have any tie-in whatsoever with the name Hermes? Is that where they got? Maybe it was their Mount Hermon, but did they name their messenger god? Do you think there's any possibility that that's where that name came from? Herman has three meanings in Hebrew. Did he? Yeah. What did is? Did he still alive? He's still hanging out in jail right now. Harvey Weinstein. You're right. There's another one. How you doing? Who's that? What's your name? Ink Scary. No relations to Hermes. You don't think so? Just a coincidental thing? He's chilling. Yeah, he is. And it's just weird because they never seem to. He's the only one so far that got arrested for all this crazy shit, you know? Or is he going to be the fall guy? Even though he was one of the biggest scumbags, evidently. You hear a lot of things that went on. Forbidden, what's that? Concentrated and forbidden. Yep. Yeah, but I often wonder, is there a lot of stuff right out in plain sight, and might have got lost in what's this? Hermes was a Greek god, right? Yep, I knew my Greek mythology. I had that in high school. I was pretty good at that shit. But what I'm saying was that them talking about the Watchers as well. You know what I'm saying? That was their gods, and God said, "You'll have no other god before me." In other words, they're false idols, but all around in Egypt, they had different things, Thoth or whatever, and who's the other? Anubis. I think Anubis was the dog-faced god. And I'm wondering if all this shit. What's this? I read the Odyssey. Yeah. Homer. Yep. But I'm wondering, were they sort of real? Meaning, they might have been the fallen angels, and that's where the stories came out of. You know what I mean? And now we just say, that was myths. Okay, but definitely there was somebody here that God didn't want us to be worshiping, that came here. And now they might be coming back in Project Bluebeam right around that time. And also the Nephilim will probably be returning. The Book of Enoch explains it more, yeah. Like, for instance, that shot that they're giving everybody, the MNRA, can change your DNA, supposedly. And that's basically what they did with Nephilim. They changed, we're made in God's image, and they're fucking around with it. You know what I'm saying? And what's this say? The Book of Enoch, I read that. And look into the Armana tablets. Is that the ones that are the jade tablets or something? They're green tablets. I think I heard something about them. I'm not sure if that's the same thing. You know what I'm talking about? And I was saying something else the other day. Have you guys heard anything about this, or do you remember this? About 2017, a Russian freighter was sent down. I think it was. They are the Anunnaki. All right. It was sent down to pick up something called the Ark of Gabriel that was dug up near the Haji. What did Muslims walk around in a circle in a pilgrimage? The big black cube. Wait a minute. The Anunnaki were known as people from the stars. You know what? There was a tribe of over in Africa, dog star. They worshiped the dog star or something. I remember hearing about that, and it was weird because they couldn't even have known that star even existed, but they knew where it was in the sky. They were a primitive tribe, and basically it's somewhere near Orion, I believe. I can't remember. Was it Betelgeuse or no? Betelgeuse is a difference. The Anunnaki were known as people from the stars. Yeah. The dog star is Sirius. Okay, I think that's the star that supposedly they were worshiping or connected to. You know what? I just saw something there. Cyrus or Sirius? I said Cyrus is what they were saying. King Cyrus was what Trump was like, the new King Cyrus. I don't know if there's a connection there, but I tend to think that if you go digging around enough, you're going to find a lot of weird shit that, we know bits and pieces about that might be connected to all kinds of different shit, you know? Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy when I heard about that. It was in Africa, and they were blown away by these people who were so primitive and yet knew where that star was and everything. Cyrus or Cyrus, yeah. But it's spelled awful close to Cyrus, right? The King Cyrus. I wonder if there's any connection with that at all. Or just another name that happens to be coincidental. But you know what? I'm not a big believer in coincidences. Yeah, just saying. There might be some connection there. It's Sirius. Yeah, Sirius. Yeah, the star. The dog star. Hang on. I think you're right. Is that the same as the North Star, I believe? Or hang on. I can't recall. Was a king of Persia. Exactly. Cyrus was the king. Wait a minute. Hang on. What is the North Star? Is that... What did I say? Sirius?
The North Star, also known as Polaris,
Polaris.
is a well-known star located near the Earth's North Pole.
Polaris. So that makes sense.
Navigation, appearing
named
almost
after the
still
North
while
Pole.
other stars rotate around it. It is the brightest star in the Ursa Minor constellation.
The king. Okay. Cyrus helped rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. Yeah, I'll tell you what. A lot of shit that's just coming to light, I think. Another thing is with the whole mRNA thing, I believe they are trying to change people's DNA. Like I said, you're made in God's image, right? Number one. Number two, they're saying that Cyrus is helping bring back the third temple, right? Okay. Well, what else is a temple? Your body. And they're trying to corrupt it. And when the Antichrist goes into the actual temple, he's corrupting it by claiming he's God. It's symbolic. I think there's a tie-in with that and what they're doing because it's all ritualistic. They do things like that. I don't know if you agree with me, but that's what I'm thinking. There's some serious... What they were saying is the brightest star located in Canis. Yeah, the dog. Yep. Yeah, Canis Major. And there's Canis Minor as well. It's consolation. I should know these things a little bit better. My Uncle Joe actually helped work on the Questar telescope. He actually had, I don't know if he did or his partner had sold this, one of those Questar telescopes to Johnny Carson. The Mahdi of the Muslim faith will be the final Antichrist. I heard that, but it remains to be seen. We might not be there, but I think the Antichrist is here. It might be spelled Mahdi. Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of crazy shit happening. Read Isaiah 63. I'll look that up. Oh, right now? Hang on, dude. Let me Google it. I don't have a Bible in the car, but I can Google it. And then sometimes you wonder if you Google shit and if you're getting a real answer. Because I don't know if you ever Googled anything during COVID about COVID. Like you might get one answer and somebody else was getting a different one. It was crazy as hell. Google was a little bit different for different. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Let me go in here. You wanted me to look up Isaiah 63. He trampled the bodies in the wine vat. The Lord comes up out of Edom. All right, wait 1 second. Let me look up the Isaiah 63. Isaiah 63. Wait a minute. Isaiah 63 NIV, God's day of vengeance and redemption. God's day of redemption and, wait a minute, of vengeance and redemption. Who is this coming from Edom? From, I can't read that, wait a minute. From Bozrah, and his garments stained crimson. Who is this robed in splendor? Chapter contains a prophecy of the vengeance of Christ upon the enemies of his church in the latter days. And there's another thing that talks about all the souls underneath the altar. I don't remember where it's at. It might be in Revelation. When, oh Lord, will, basically they were calling for, revenge or to be, I can't think of the word. They were sacrificed, under the altar. They were probably innocent babies and everything else that was slaughtered. What's this? Let me see. Edom was the descendant of Esau. Esau was the one that was the hairy guy that was a brother of, was it Jacob? Nah, or am I right? When Esau married a daughter of Israel. Yeah. Jacob, right? Ishmael. Ishmael. And yep. All right. Isn't Ishmael tied in like with Muslims? Yes, Jacob. Jacob, Israel. Yep. Damn, dude, you know your Bible pretty good. That's good. I'm old. I don't remember where I can find what I know things, but you're pretty good at pulling this stuff out. Wait a minute. Edom means red in Hebrew. Oh shit. Do you have any content? Or do you have a YouTube channel there, Joshua? Yeah. Do you have a channel with content on it? Maybe you should start doing one, dude, if you don't. You want to hear something crazy? One of my mods on here, her grandkid can speak, and probably like 6 years old, knows Hebrew all of a sudden, and nobody can figure out how she knows it. She has autism. So she taught herself somehow. I just thought that was crazy. Oh, you do? Okay, you know what? I'll go subscribe to you, dude. Let me try to find your channel here. I'll subscribe. Yeah, I tried to subscribe. I couldn't get into this thing here. Let me take a screenshot here, and I'll look up your channel later on. Wait a minute. Joshua Tift, 4640. There you go. I got a screenshot now. Just hold this for later. Oh yeah, dude. It's crazy as hell. And the person I'm talking about, she's really, really super intelligent. She thinks she might have some autism, and it's incredible. She said the one plays music and it has autism. It's like a what do you call it? Piano virtuoso almost. I'm like 6 years old. I often wonder. You ever hear like idiot savants? They used to call them people that are their brain might be damaged in one way, but they're like super genius in a whole other way. It's really crazy. Yeah. Well, they live in Ohio. I'll ask the person. I don't. The problem is, she said when she went up and approached the child, her grandmother, said that she freaked out. She doesn't want to show it off or talk, but she every now and then she starts saying stuff. The other day she said, "Wait a minute, Mozart was a savant." Yeah, it's like God might give people gifts because they're lacking somewhere else. I'll tell you what. I always thought that was incredible. It's like, remember the movie Rain Man? He was pretty much, I think, supposed to be an idiot savant or had autism or something. Yeah, I think you're right about Mozart. Yeah, Rain Man was a pretty good movie. I have a younger brother who was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Come from a family of 9, and he was the last one in the family. It's on Tubi right now. Rain Man, yeah, and he used to blow my mind by just saying things. He knew things. It was incredible, and I'm not sure why. He may have had never been diagnosis, but he might have had autism as well. But he had schizophrenia. Like I said, God taketh, God giveth and taketh away, or whatever. He gives people gifts. They might be lacking somewhere, but he turns around and evens the thing out somewhere else. It's a good movie. All right, you know what? I gotta hop off here. I forgot. I gotta get up tomorrow. You know what? Thanks everybody for coming on here. I appreciate you guys. Savants are. That's possible. That Yeah, it could be some kind of link up there. It's possible. So you guys have a good one, whoever's on here. I'll tell you what, stop on back, dude. I'm going to try to hop onto your channel and subscribe. Appreciate you. And you guys have a great night. Nikola Tesla was a savant. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I collect old photography, by the way, like Civil War era and stuff. I don't know if you were on there. I just showed one. Maybe you saw it. But anyway, I had a picture of, it was, what's his name? We just said Tesla. And it was a electrical engineer's thing, like a thing that had a company of all these people that were electrical engineers back in the day. That one of them was also, I don't know if he was a mathematician. Do you know who Steinmetz was? Was it Carl Steinmetz was a dwarf, I believe. He had MS or something. A real small guy, but he was like super genius. And he was in this picture, I believe, with Nikola Tesla. Wait a minute. I think I did. Did you happen to see? Yeah, Steinmetz. Look up that name. He was like Einstein. All those guys hung together too. That's why I'm wondering. Maybe you're onto something by saying maybe there are angels or there's something, because a lot of those guys, electrical engineers during the turn of the century, like Tesla and all them guys, they were miles ahead of everybody. And Tesla claimed that I can't find the picture now. Anyway, I had a tintype in there earlier. Wait a minute, maybe it's over here. Here it is. This is a Civil War photo. They knew too much, right? I was showing this earlier. I collect old tintypes. I don't know if you can see that. And daguerreotypes. See the guy in there? This one's actually called an ambrotype. I believe it's on glass. And I was big into collecting all that stuff because I was into history, Civil War history and shit. And it's pretty neat. I go up to Gettysburg a lot. And I know a few of the people up there that run the shops. And I used to sell daguerreos and tintypes up there. There was a shop up there called Fields of Glory. But the guy, basically, I put my stuff up there on the front, and he would sell it, and I was supposed to get a kickback. He did it one time, and then he started stealing my stuff. And I went up there and got my stuff out of his shop. All right, cool. No, I'm actually up in Delaware, originally from Pennsylvania, and Gettysburg's in Pennsylvania. And as a kid, my dad used to take us up there. I had a couple experiences out in Gettysburg, ghost type stuff that I can't be explained, but I actually have a video on my YouTube channel where I'm up there, where I'm in Devil's Den, and I'm talking about I guess it was the 250th anniversary. They had a reenactment. All these soldiers were, walking around the park. And I was there that day, and I was walking along Little Round Top, which is across from Devil's Den. Devil's Den's all these big granite boulders. So, what's that? US 2, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So I'm walking along there, right? And there's the 144th Pennsylvania, I think, or the 44th. I can't remember. There was guys that were reenactors from them. And they were walking along the top of Little Round Top. There's a monument that they were heading to, and I was following them. And I looked to my right, coming up the hill, is a guy in Confederate clothes. They were raggedy as heck. This guy said, "Man, this guy's playing the part to the max, barefoot." And he points to Devil's Den and says something to me. I couldn't understand it, like it's over there or something that you're looking for. I kind of got that impression, but it had almost like a Georgia or deep South, maybe a Bayou type of accent. I had a hell of a time. And there was actually the Georgian soldiers were up in that area. So I don't know whether it was reenacted to this day, but what happened was, I just pointed, and I kind of got disturbed by it. Something bothered me that the guy walked right up through these jagged ass rocks barefoot. And I turned to follow the two New York 44th or 144th reenactors to their monument. I was walking behind them about 50 feet, and I'll turn around and look. The guy's gone, totally gone. Then I later on, I found in a book where that happened to somebody else. Really crazy. Hey, what's up, Doc? You got here kind of late. I was just about to get a hop off of here. Yeah, Doc, this guy Joshua, he's got his own channel. If you can, check him out. Subscribe. I'm going to subscribe. He subscribed to me the other day, I believe. He knows a lot. He's very intelligent, you can tell. I was talking about Gettysburg just right now, as a matter of fact. So, actually, what time is it? I got to get up tomorrow. It's 11 o'clock. Yeah. By the way, Doc, I got my car back. Yeah, man. Thank God. It was the alternator. Cost a lot of money, but I got it back. I don't know. Well, you know your Bible. I'll say that much. You impressed me. And you have a good night. And same with you, Doc. Sorry. Tomorrow I'll come back on maybe. If I get a chance, I'll do another live stream tomorrow night. You guys have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry, Doc. I got to get rolling. Have a good night.